안녕하세요 여러분, 넷달바입니다. 비트코인의 대표적인 전도사라고 할 수 있죠. 마이클 세일러를 모르시는 분은 아마 없을 겁니다. 근데 그가 처음에 어떤 계기로 비트코인에 빠지게 되었는지 궁금하지 않으신가요? 오늘의 영상은 그의 25년지기 친구 에릭 와이즈가 들려주는 마이클 세일러의 비트코인 오렌지필 여정에 대한 이야기입니다. 이 여정의 시작은 세상에 대한 이런저런 얘기였지만 결국 세일러는 상상을 뛰어넘는 수준으로 비트코인 세계에 뛰어들게 되는데요. 그의 첫 매수부터 마이크로 스트래티지의 큰 전환점인 준비 자산 채택까지 어떻게 이런 일이 가능했을까요? 영상 속 에릭 와이즈의 이야기를 통해 세일러가 비트코인을 이해하고 확신하게 된 그 특별한 과정을 함께 들어보시죠. 그러면 출발! 가자!
Yeah, Michael and I have been friends for more than 25 years. So,
oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, we'd known each other a long time, and we'd always talked about business and technology and things of that nature. I had brought up Bitcoin a number of times in the past, and he wasn't interested in hearing about it and would kind of dismiss that conversation. Oftentimes even kind of telling me that I should think about getting into this or not, that it was, still in a bit of a gray area. But, he had his company to run and thousands of employees, and was competing every day against companies like Microsoft and Salesforce, and this wasn't his focus at all. So I understand why, it wasn't on his radar. And then during the pandemic, we were spending a lot of time we both live in Miami, during the winter a bit. And so he was down there during the pandemic, and we're spending a lot of time together, trying to make sense of what was happening in the world. The governments had shut everything down and locked everybody in their homes, and businesses had come to a halt, and yet the stock market was going up, and we were just trying to make sense of things. And he remembers that I said something along the lines of, when there's big change like this, there's opportunity. We just have to find the opportunity. And then I went back to talking about Bitcoin, because I do that. And instead of dismissing the conversation, he was receptive to it, because we were trying to make sense of what was happening in the world. And he just said, tell me more about that. And so we spent, the next week or so talking about it. I told him everything I knew. He obviously asked very good probing questions. And the more he asked, the more I realized I don't know enough. So, I pointed him to some other resources after he had pulled everything out of my brain, and then, helped him, figure out how to buy it, etc. And then one day I was pulling into a restaurant for dinner with some other friends, and the phone rang, and it was Michael. At the time, the price of Bitcoin was almost exactly $10,000 US per Bitcoin. And so I picked up the phone, and I was like, what's up? And he said, I bought some Bitcoin. And I was like, okay, cool. And he said, yeah, 10,000. And I said, you bought one Bitcoin? And he said, no, I bought 10,000 Bitcoin. I bought 10,000 Bitcoin. I bought 10,000 Bitcoin. So his first trade was $100 million. And I went from thinking, great, I got my buddy into Bitcoin, to, oh shit, I got my buddy into Bitcoin. And anybody who's been in Bitcoin for any amount of time knows that it's, not just straight up and to the right. There's some volatility in there. So I had some anxiety about that. Still have a little anxiety about that, but it's working out very well for MicroStrategy and for Michael. So I'm happy about that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he certainly likes extremes. So I'm
Yes.
not gonna buy a coin or
Yes.
two. I'm gonna fucking buy 10K. Holy shit.
Yeah, but
And
that's what research and conviction will do for you, right? Because he does his own research, and he doesn't do things half-ass, and he doesn't do anything until he has conviction. So he took the time to learn everything that he could, and didn't evaluate just Bitcoin, evaluated everything else, gold, this, that, the other. And when he had his conviction, then, you know, when he does something, he does it in a significant way.
And how long was that before then MicroStrategy got in? Because I feel like this was probably quite a long, hard fight, even for him. I mean, he's obviously the founder and has a lot of influence, like major influence, obviously, on MicroStrategy, but still a listed company. So from the point he was kind of convicted and he was a private investor until he got the company. Invested in. There's also probably conflict of interest topics. I don't know if he's such a quite a holder already of Bitcoin and
I'm intentionally not privy to a lot of the details, but suffice to say that unbeknown to me at the time, he was interested in getting his company into Bitcoin, not just personally, but I guess his company was taking longer, and so he, you know, bought some personally, I think, and then over time. His board came to the conclusion that we can't just do something different like this without giving shareholders an opportunity to sell. So they did what's called a tender offer for the shares. They announced what they were going to do. Any shareholders that didn't want to be a part of that, the company offered to buy their stock back at a price over the current stock price. And some small percentage of people took advantage of that. And then once they had purchased the shares from people who didn't want to come along for the Bitcoin ride, then they used the rest of their money to buy Bitcoin and then have subsequently raised money and bought more Bitcoin since.
오늘 영상에서는 마이클 세일러가 비트코인에 빠지게 된 흥미로운 이야기를 에릭 와이즈의 시선으로 살펴보았습니다. 여러분들은 어떻게 보셨나요? 세일러가 그랬듯 여러분들도 각자의 여정들이 있으시죠? 처음에는 물론 단순한 투자 수단, 떡상에서 부자가 되는 것에서 시작하셨을 수도 있지만 지금은 시대의 거대한 변화로 다들 인식하고 계신가요? 여러분만의 생각이나 질문들을 댓글로 남겨주세요. 오늘의 영상이 마음에 드셨다면 그냥 가지 마시고 좋아요 한 번이라도 부탁드립니다. 그렇게 하면 더 많은 분들께 이 영상이 닿는다고 하네요. 저는 다음 시간에 또 다른 이야기로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다. 안녕.
We should not be afraid of Bitcoin. Remember y'all laughed at me when I first got my Bitcoin? Who's laughing now? Go look at my Bitcoin now. Y'all all mock me. You're taking your first 3 paychecks in Bitcoin? What's wrong with you? Now you wish you would have done it. you know? And so I am happy